When you put an apple in the freaking how we doing, everybody?
Oh man, doing great. How's Mason?
Oh, doing all right, doing all right, doing all right. How's Mr. Culleton doing? How you doing, sir?
Same stuff, different day.
I feel that. I feel that. Mr. Tyler Krozek, how are you?
We're doing good. Ready for next week or this Thursday at Auto Club. Other than that, kind of just relaxing, getting through the week.
Absolutely. And Mr. Bellinger, how you doing?
Back from the dead, still alive, so can't complain.
Back from that.
Yeah, I heard last week's races were a little sketchy.
Oh, that's an understatement, I would say, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Elaborate some more.
20 cautions,
Oof.
and we ran out of time.
Ooh,
Yeah, that is interesting.
In the
Never
Cup
been
Series
in a
too.
race where the session ended like that.
That is,
that-
I believe, the
that is a
first
first.
in history of GEC NASCAR that has happened.
It is.
well, we ran out of time one time, but it wasn't because of cautions.
No, yeah, I remember that. That was just a mistake.
Yeah, that was an innocent oops, but that 20 cautions in the cup race, holy crap.
Yeah, that's kind of insane. It's definitely something we don't see every day from the Cup racers for sure. I know that that track was pretty difficult out there this time around.
I think you guys were running Martinville a couple of years ago.
Yep.
Nightmare at Martinsville.
Yep, Nightmare
Let's,
at Martinsville,
yeah.
quoted.
It always is.
Terrible.
I think
that was
the whole problem with the Auto Club race was there was it's obviously an older track, the bumps, and then everybody was just a lot of people were sliding going from the bottom all the way to the top. I know we had a couple cautions with that. And I mean that's just Auto Club. The car got at least for me, I know Tyler was ripping the bottom really good during the race. For me, whenever I tried to gas it up on the bottom, it would kind of slide up. So me, I would get loose. But I mean that was just me. I wasn't sure. Obviously, I can't speak for everybody else. But that with how bumpy the track was out coming out of the turns, and with the cars and how not bad they are, but how easy it is to spin out with just the air and everything, definitely wasn't the best combination in my opinion. If we're still talking about that, I don't know.
Well, it hasn't been on the schedule in a couple seasons either. I don't think that helped anybody either.
No, it did not.
Are you talking about
They
Auto
all
Club?
they're yeah.
Mm-hmm.
well. I don't think it did us any good that we didn't host any practice races either. Being consistent with the practice races and making sure that the people have the ability to go out there and practice with the setup that's provided is definitely key. But unfortunately, with like we were talking with the Cup Series, we don't have provided setups, so we're at the mercy of iRacing when it comes to something like Auto Club.
Yeah, and that's all you can be. You can't like you can't like even that. Just there was a lot of it was a new track obviously. Yeah, we haven't run in a while. No practice. A lot of almost the perfect storm, and that's we brewed up a storm all right.
Yeah, it was a very unfortunate scenario.
Now the trucks had their troubles too. I don't think there was 20 cautions, but
How did the Truck Series go for Auto Club?
it was it was a pretty good race overall. A lot of cautions, a little bit of hijinks that probably were unnecessary. It was good having Jamie back in the field, that's for sure.
I know. Welcome back to racing, sir.
Yeah, no, I definitely had a great time out there. P2 struggled the whole race, had a really bad issue with damage in the beginning. Used my fast repair on lap 2 and then caught damage catching back up to the pack when somebody checked up into me. So I was fighting damage the whole race. So, but yeah, man, P2 in that race and just had a good time there towards the end. It just they did a pretty good job. Like he said, there wasn't an abundant amount of cautions, but it definitely had its own issues.
Right.
I couldn't get a rhythm, and when I finally did, ended up losing a lucky dog because of something silly, but you know.
And we didn't really mention it right here at the beginning, but I believe Culleton, Tyler Krozak, and Bellinger are all from Racing Edge. So they are joining us in the booth, obviously, today.
Yeah, no.
Yep, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, yeah, like it's proud to represent him. Obviously, Kuna can't be here. He's still under the weather a little bit, which is really unfortunate. But hopefully, he'll be feeling better soon.
Absolutely. Hope he feels better. Is there anything you guys want to bring up as far as obviously I know that there was some problems with incident points that was brought up. I know somebody wanted to speak on that.
Yeah, I wanted to say something. I know, just I don't. It's really really hard to judge with you guys but I feel like a drive through or something that you like if because obviously at least in my because I got disqualified from the race, so I have a I don't know this hits me a little bit more hard a little bit harder than other people would it probably would, but it's I don't there's a I don't even know what's like what you can do to change it because it's such a fine line because you want to get the people that wrecked a lot out of there, and I understand that, but then I think I wouldn't even say cause. I got really close to Hanneman and got an X. I think I spun out coming out of pit road. So that I didn't I out of the 26 X's I got or 20 yeah, I think it's 26. I maybe was the direct result of one or like we'll say we'll say 6. We'll say 6 X's. That was on me. The rest of them I was getting involved in other people's messes. And if that were to have happen to say something in the playoffs or something like that, where like points really matter and stuff, like, and if someone gets DQ'd, like that would be really unfortunate. I don't want someone's season to end off that because in the playoffs, points are a lot. Points are everything in the playoffs, especially with how we run the playoffs here. I just don't want someone's race to end because of some unlucky like unlucky net code or they have terrible luck that night or something like that. Like there's a lot
I mean, that's what you mean DQ on points on
incident points. Yes.
incident points. Oh, okay, I see where you're coming from then.
Yeah, I had too many incident points. I got net coded. What Ellswick bumped me on the restart, and then I believe went down. I don't remember. I don't have it in front of me, so don't quote me on any of this. But he bumped me on the restart, hit my back bumper.
Man, it's
And
all
then
public record now, buddy.
he got spun from behind, and it gave me a 4x, even though I had nothing to do with that.
Right.
And that ended my race. It took me from I think 8th place to 18th, 2 laps down.
Yeah, I was a
And
victim
that
to
that
that too. So
so definitely
I mean,
unfortunate. I don't want anybody's season to end or seasons to be on the line because of all like you know what I mean. I
and
guess
maybe
I hope.
that's something to put in the suggestion box for the admins to look at. Where you're coming from on there, I'd say maybe a 2 lap penalty. And you cycle down.
Or even something that like if something were to happen, like the admins can. I'm not sure if you get an instant like you can clear a like clear if you did like a drive through or the 2 lap penalty and everything, and you can just clear it. Something that where it's not an automatic DQ because the automatic DQ you can't get rid of. I would believe you can get rid of the like a pit rope like a drive down pit road during under or even a driving down pit road under or under green flag conditions. Like that,
The
like
only
that.
problem with the only problem with that is you still run into the same problem. So, for example, in last week's race, if you had queued up and asked for a black cleared, an admin would just have to take your word that you didn't cause any of the other incident points that you've racked up. So
Mm-hmm.
you're kind of stuck in the same boat. The only solution I have to it is instead of having the incident points in race where you get penalized, because even if you have a pass through, you're still going to get penalized possibly without deserving it. Is to not do that, but to like some other leagues that Tyler and I are in. They track the incident points each race, and it goes into a stat column in the point standings, and you track each guys. And when you see guys that are outliers that are averaging a certain amount per race, then you can monitor them in the post race reports and hand them penalties for starting wrecks that other people are involved in. Otherwise, I mean, it happened to me at Daytona. I didn't cause an issue literally all night, and I got DQ'd 20 feet before the start finish line. Now, that wreck was technically my fault. I clipped my teammate in the right rear as we were coming to the start finish line accidentally. It was bumps gone bad and arrow and whatnot, but it would have been deemed my fault. But that would have been 4x for me on the night versus the other 20x that I literally had nothing to do with other than getting caught up. And I wasn't even caught up in wrecks other than one. It was just getting bumped while avoiding a wreck, giving me a 4x.
Right.
And it's like I got DQ'd for a 4x that I caused and then being in the wrong place at the wrong time while calling out caution wrecking, people wrecking and everything and still getting collected. And that was, I went from what should have been a top 5 to 17th a lap down. And it's like
a lot of the
so
headache
that's
for the
my only suggestion.
sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. A
Oh,
lot
you're
of the headache, I'm sure, for the admin crew is iRacing is constantly evolving. I mean, it goes from they're constantly trying to make it better. Our team's trying to make it better. So there's times where you get bumped from behind. The guy loses it. He spins because he made contact within a certain amount of time. You get a 4x, even if you just kept on driving. It didn't affect you one bit. So it's a hard line to draw, and I don't envy the admin crew at all.
Well, yeah, that's the true root of the problem is the incident points in iRacing is broken. That's part of why I stopped racing officials is I just couldn't stand it anymore. I can't stand being penalized on a safety rating for stuff I have nothing to do with, like I'm the one at fault. Like it drives me nuts. So yeah, at the
And
end of
I
the day,
understand.
that's an iRacing problem.
I understand, like, if someone were to arc a brake or something like that, like, coming in there trying to trying to drive right through, like, just a no arc a brake. But if you slow down, you're making attempts to avoid the caution, and then you get pile driven from behind, or, the last week on under caution for the auto club race, I had someone didn't like the way I raced him, and he gave me a 4x under caution, just running right into me. And that, I mean, obviously that was another 4x that led to one of my DQ to my DQ. Obviously that, I'm like there was definitely stuff in that when I watch back racing, definitely stuff I could have done better. Like I did not race him as clean as I wanted to or as I should have, but he's I didn't get any incident points off of that, but when he hit me under caution, that gave me a 4x, and obviously led to my disqualification.
Yeah, I'd say you guys bring up some pretty valid points about it. I mean, it's definitely something we can look into and talk about implementing as a team. I know that these were these things specifically issues in the last season for you guys as well, or is it just
No, I think with the 40 car fields, I think it makes it, and we obviously have a very diverse field.
right?
We have people that we have like the 4,000 I rating guys, and then we have our, 1,000, 1.2K guys. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I like the diverse, like, that's how you get better. You race with the really good guys, you learn stuff, you can talk to them. It's one of the many ways you can get better at this. And, but with obviously with Rex or something like even for Martinsville, I believe we raced Martinsville this year. That one, we might have a record amount of DQs there. And it's just with how the racing's been already.
Well, I don't know. We raced Martinsville a couple seasons back, and I finished 4th. I also was the last car running. So
Martinsville did not go well in that season. No, it did not.
And it looks like Martinsville is actually going to be a playoff
I believe
race.
the first race of the playoffs.
I'm glad
Some
I'm
of these
trucks.
Some of these
Well,
issues will get better because we're not going to continue to have 40 cars in the field. Like, as the season goes on, some people will stop racing. That happens literally every season of every league I've ever been a part of.
It does happen less and less, though.
Yeah, my personal opinion is like 30 to 32 people is the best amount, like the most you can have in a field and have it go pretty smoothly. Once you get mid 30s and up, it just starts to turn into a crap.
And this is just speaking because, I mean, me, Jamie, Mason, we're the 3 in this conversation that have been here since day 1. And I appreciate everything you guys have done. Every time we find a solution, we're the admin team now that I'm not even a moderator, and that's by choice, by the way, because it's so much less stressful having to have any sort of responsibility. But one problem gets fixed,
another one pops up.
Another one pops up, or unintended consequences, like the TPS thing. That was a suggestion. It's helped a ton.
I'm sure it does really help, because then it makes if you are flirting with that 26 or that like 20, you're going to be racing a lot cleaner. You're going to be slowing the car down. You're not going to be pushing as much. But
yeah, I mean, we come up with another solution. Well, what crazy ass problem's going to make up itself and pop up next? It's just one of those things.
Well, and I like what somebody said in the chat just a second ago. Might have to turn off auto cautions for Martinsville, and you're not wrong, Sellers. That has been considered in the past, where we don't allow the auto cautions to come out and we throw the cautions ourselves. But the biggest problem with doing that is the bias cautions, right? Oh, well, we shouldn't have threw a caution for that. Well, now we're starting to flirt with a line that, are we going to do this or are we not going to do this? And ultimately, I think we just stuck with, across the board, we're going to let iRacing do it. But yeah, it's been considered.
In our other league that me and Tyler both run, we have admin, who we have admin cautions. He makes some very questionable caution calls. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's his call. If he thinks that the car is coming up, you can't fight that. And if someone doesn't like the call, well, tough love. It's how the race went. If someone spun out, that's how I see it, at least.
At the end of the day, though, the rules are the same for everybody.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah. There's some cautions that iRacing doesn't throw, and maybe the admins having the option, whoever race control is that particular race, having the option to throw a caution if they see something that's, why is it iRacing throwing this caution? This is clearly should be a caution. They had the power to override. They don't need to throw them all. God, I wouldn't want to.
I like that. I really like that idea, because I believe we've had one at Daytona. I believe or sometimes iRacing will just not throw a caution for stuff. I understand that, for a place like Daytona, we had I think it was Daytona or Michigan. Someone spun all the way to the infield, like all the way to the inside wall on the backstretch, and there was no caution. There shouldn't be a need for a caution there in iRacing. Just hold escape, get rid of your car if it's that damaged. If not, just keep driving.
I mean, that's the great thing about this. So rules are the same for everybody.
And then I believe this week or 2 weeks ago at Daytona, there was a big crash into turn 1. I believe, Tyler, if you remember.
Yeah.
And there was no caution.
It was at the start-finish line. That's when I got ARCA braked.
Yeah, and then there was no caution for that, and obviously that should have been.
Breaking?
Say it again, Colton.
What the hell is this ARCA breaking?
People trying to drive, people trying to drive through stuff and either not braking, and just running right into you.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's mostly people that are trying to, like, a draft master's kind of wreck. People, like, no cautions at all. You just drive through, you pedal the metal and you pray to God, kind of thing. And
Well,
then, once they realize they're not going to hit it, they slam on the brakes and expect the car to stop, and it doesn't.
something that would
Gotcha.
help would be another iRacing thing. Like in our other league that Tyler was talking about, we have iRacing cautions and admin cautions. That way, if he knows it's going to be a caution, he can throw it before iRacing does. Or if like multiple cars spin down into the infield or whatever, and iRacing's not going to recognize that as a caution ever, but he can throw the caution, so that helps. But the problem with having admin only cautions is there's a lot of tracks where a field gets spread out and you have to rely on people calling out a wreck in order to find it and throw it. iRacing needs to implement an actual race control view where it's a blimp overhead of the whole racetrack so you can see every part of the track to know exactly when something happens, because the actual blimp view you're still not only seeing but a small portion of the field depending on the track. So if they would just do one overhead of the whole track, that would be fantastic for leagues, because then you could
I know
just
you
watch
could.
that view as a race controller and throw cautions.
Or even for a broadcast standpoint too. Like if they
Yeah.
added something like a contact. Like if someone made contact, like it would show you, it would go right to them
Yeah.
or something like that.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine
Like
though a contact camera on
oh
a
yeah,
track
like
like
Martinsville. Oh
Martinsville,
my,
or
the camera would be
Oh yeah,
going
your
everywhere.
camera would be like here, 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 here.
Schizophrenic
have,
broadcast.
have a damn stroke? If somebody
You have
watching
to
with
come with
epilepsy would be in the hospital.
you have to have a warning label at the start of the stream for schizophrenic.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do that though. Apparently, I learned this not too long ago from talking to Cochran. Is that you can back your cameras out and change your angles and everything else if you just got to know how to do it. I
There
don't
there
ever really.
definitely is a way how to do it, but I don't think that there's a super efficient way of doing what he was just talking about with doing the overhead blimp view, which would be very, very much helpful. But
So who won the cup race anyhow? I never even looked.
you know what? That's a good question.
The same guy that won Daytona, I believe.
Well, that tells me.
No, was it? Was it Malone?
Yeah, it was. If it was Malone, then yeah. If Malone won, then he won. He has won the first two races so far.
Pretty sure it was Malone, yeah.
Yeah, I think there was a crash behind him or something. No,
Hey TK,
I don't know.
not to be a mom, but it's 6:40, buddy, or 7:40.
It is. Yeah, I have to. Unfortunately, I have to go. I'm sorry.
All right, buddy. Hey, it was nice chatting with you.
Good.
Yeah. Hopefully, we can do this again when
I'll be right back, guys.
and not spotting.
No,
for someone.
absolutely. We'll get you back up here one of these days.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
All right.
Have fun with the rest of your stream.
I had to put my charger on. Computer was about to die.
Oh boy.
Sorry about that.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
Well, and as we're coming into race 3 for Chicagoland, I just hope people come into it with a lesson learned, right? Because ultimately, what we've seen on the track was, people not having the knowledge of the changing environment on the track, due to a lot of the weather that we actually have that's now, instead of static, we have that's forecasted. So as you're racing on the track, it's going to start off a certain way and then it's going to start to get worse and worse or better and better. And ultimately, it's up to you as a driver to realize what's going on with the car and the track. So I think it was just people thinking that they can just continue to push like they always have been for the last 6 seasons, when ultimately you got to evaluate how much you can push out of those turns. Even myself in the truck race, I was having issues as the race persisted, uh, getting out of the corner, right? So getting into the corner, no problem. But it was coming out of the corner. I had to get in the gas later and later and later. And I don't think people were doing that. Plus, it's not wanting to give up that position right then, right? So a lot of people are looking right then and there, right in the moment. Whereas then you need to think about the long run of the situation, right? So are you going to be able to pass that person again that just passed you? If so, why put up that much of a fight? And not only that, really ultimately, why put yourself in a situation where you can't fight anymore at all? So I think people just need to focus and calm down a little bit and realize what's on the line rather than just push, 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 push. And I think we'll get to where we need to be.
Now with the truck
Well,
series, I'm sorry, Tyler, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, with the most recent aerodynamic and tire update of the next gen, it's made it where people are driving even harder because the dirty air is just so bad. You know, in the old car, you could let somebody by and maybe you see them again in 10 laps when they wear their stuff out, but now it's so hard to pass, and getting behind somebody just packs so much air on the front end and sends you up the track that pack racing on tracks where you do have some draft like Auto Club and whatnot, nobody wants to give up any spots because they're so much harder to get back later in the run.
I've seen
Yeah, you're.
the truck series. You take that and you compound it with it being a developmental series for the most part. You got a lot of young rookie drivers that they lose their heads. Maybe young's not the right word, but rookie drivers that they lose their head or they don't know when to give up, and I think that's what caused our issues more than anything. Last Tuesday was, you know, just too much too soon and not knowing when to give in.
Well,
Right.
and for me, ultimately, yeah. Um, I if you don't look at it as a situation rather than what am I going to do right now, um, you got to be 5 steps ahead of every move you make out there in the Cup Series, because like you said, the car is only now changed, the aero is now changed, the handling is now changed, the setups have all changed, and now we're using dynamic weather, so going into it's going to be a lot different than it used to be. Um, Somebody had mentioned in the chat also, said some people think they deserve to have rookies and anyone they deem slower to just move out of the way, and if they don't they just ram them, and that is something that we have noticed, as far as segregation wise, like the some of our veterans consider people, you're newer here, you should have that respect, and you should get out of the way, when ultimately, when Jeff Gordon came into NASCAR, or when Dale Earnhardt came in, and he didn't do that. You know what I mean?
Oh no.
If you're trying to put your best foot forward in the rookie series, you need to drive as hard as you can, without causing an incident. And really, ultimately, you're only judged by your incidents. You're not judged by how many people pass you or how many people you pass during the season. So ultimately, it comes down to, and that goes for veteran drivers too. With the new admin policies that are in place, any driver can be evaluated at the end of the season. So you really ultimately have to consider, am I 5 steps ahead of the move I'm about to make? And am I going to detriment my season or even possibly my career in GEC by pulling some stupid move that really ultimately I didn't need to pull? So
Well,
I know. Go ahead.
and it just made me think about this, and here's just a piece of advice to the rookies. Um, this is again coming from a guy who's been around since this league started. Um, a simple apology goes a long way.
Yeah.
I mean, just hey man, I screwed up. I'm sorry. It goes a long way. You know, there's there's no question about it. I'm pretty pissed off about an incident from Tuesday. I'm not going to wreck the guy. That's not how I drive. But if you're going for a win and you're coming up on me and I happen to be a lap car, you better hope that you got a 4 or 5 second lead, because I'm going to hold you up. Plain and simple.
Well,
There's different ways of handling things, and and that's what a lot of the youngins, I say youngins, but the guys new to the iRacing, new to the series, new to the league need to figure out is that there's more than one way you don't have to wreck somebody because you're pissed off. You don't have to run into them because they're slower than you. There's a difference between bumping and wrecking somebody too.
Right. Seller's stirring the chat up down there.
Where
yeah,
is
I
this
see it.
chat? I'm looking for it.
It's on the broadcast.
You can go to like YouTube, go to the channel, see it there.
YouTube.
But
Yeah, I gotta pull
he says, didn't your teammate kill you at Daytona, Culleton?
You're right.
Yeah, but you know what? He apologized
Hey, there it is.
real quick too.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, and that's a very good point. I do want to bring that up. Minchaka just said something. You know, that is a big thing that we noticed on the reviews for the Cup Series when we went in. Minchaka said, with the larger fields like we have, the caution laps restarts need to be tighter and better functionality as a whole. It will help everyone. And I agree. I even screenshotted. I had Ellswick screenshot out of the reviews that we were doing for the cautions on how far gapped out you guys were. There were some restarts where there were people that were gapped out by 3 car lengths from the person in front of them, and that was what was causing all those big, huge checkups. That was
Do we
what
have
was
those
causing all
photos on
them
here?
crappy restarts. I do actually have
Yeah,
those
send them over to
photos.
me.
Yeah. Give me 2 seconds and I'll send them over. And ultimately, that's the kind of stuff that's really avoidable. And we want to make sure that we don't persist that in the future, right? Because really, it's not a good look for us. When especially we can't even get our restarts correct. It just is not where we want to be as a league and as you know drivers trying to come up and do better. So give me 2 seconds, Mason. I'll go ahead and send those over to you.
Yeah, no problem.
So when you guys, I know when somebody causes a caution, it's a EOL if they claim it. If they cause another caution, is it another EOL or is it a different penalty?
No, that is correct. It is only another EO. No, if they cause another caution and they claim it, they're parked for the night.
Okay, that's pretty good. I was gonna suggest something like that instead of just EOL after EOL. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
Mason. Yeah, no way. Yeah, in the beginning, we used to have a before our caution tracker, before our rule book, before everything, we had what was called a 3 caution rule. And first caution was a EOL, second caution was a drive through, third caution you were parked for the night. Well, really,
Yep.
ultimately, that was causing people too much leeway to be able to cause
Yeah,
too much damage in the race. So we just cut it off at 1 and 2. So
I like that. That's good.
So I'm just gonna quickly throw these. I would go to the other screen, but I don't think I set that one up. So we'll just throw it right here for now.
it all comes down to judgment when it's all, and you know that's why GEC has mentoring. If you're causing issues, they'll set you up with a mentor.
I don't know if you can see that, but stream can.
That did come across, right?
but yeah, that's one of them right there. I mean,
That's crazy.
Yeah,
It's like
ultimately,
almost 2 car lengths up front.
well, look at that right side. You know what I mean? Well, and again, we were thinking that the 48 was actually hanging back on that outside, so in case something did happen. But look at that one right there. That is insane.
That's bad.
Is that the one where I was back too far?
No, this wasn't the. This is the Cup Series.
See if I can get them both on the
Okay.
screen here.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure there's some instances that we could have shown from the trucks, but I didn't do those reviews. We just happened to notice it when me and Ellswick were doing the reviews for the cups, and was like, man, these guys are so gapped apart, and this is what ultimately is causing these restart issues. It was bad.
Yeah, if race control can spot that in the moment, that should be like a pass through a fence or something. Like
That's what we were already talking about is maybe catching it more in the moment than allowing you know something like that to cause an issue later on in the race.
yeah, especially if you get a caution right after a restart. Race control maybe can go back and look and see if that was caused by somebody doing that and they get maybe a stiffer penalty or something.
Yeah. Well, as Yancey just mentioned as well, we did notice people going extremely slow into the pit lane. Um, people going like 10 miles an hour slower than the person up. I understand if there's somebody in front of you where you can't go any faster, but ultimately, if you're not going pit lane speed, that is going to start to be a penalty because we can't have you holding up all their drivers. Really, ultimately, um, if it's significant enough, yeah, they'll probably say something from now
and
on. But
I don't know, JB, you may notice, but after last season, before last season when I ran Cup with you guys, and then this season, I was black flagged constantly on pit road. I sucked on pit road. So I started practicing running on the track. I'd run 2 laps and I'd practice pitting. Every practice, I'd make sure I hit pit road 5, 6 times just to make sure I could figure out how hard I could come in and have time to slow down to get to pit lane speed because it's gonna every second counts. I mean, maybe there's just not enough practice in pitting. You're out there worrying about laps, 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 how fast you can go. Got to practice slowing down
But
too.
even
yeah,
on pit road, like there's really no excuse for ever being, unless you're coming in with a damaged car. There's no excuse for being anything more than 3 miles per hour slower than the pit road speed limit.
Well,
no,
I mean,
absolutely.
my goal is to hit the speed limit when I hit that line.
Right. I just mean going down
But
pit road. Like if you got one of the first 5 boxes and you're pitting like 10th place and you got 2 or 3 cars in front of you that are doing 51 instead of 55, like that's gonna cause a stack up. You're forced to lose time on pit road. Like
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't work all around.
well, Yancey
Well, and
makes a good
Yancey,
point.
yeah, I was about to say, yeah, he just said something about people forgetting about their settings to the last second. That's causing them to slow down while they're trying to change settings.
Yeah,
And I could see
please.
that.
If it's not a green
Hire
flag, stop.
hire a crew chief. I don't want excuses.
Well,
Hire a
I mean,
crew chief.
if it's not a green flag, stop. I mean, if it's a green flag, stop. And then there's another green flag stop. I kind of get it. But it goes back to being 5 steps ahead, having a game plan for the entire race before you ever
Yeah.
take the green flag. You leave pit lane, go to your black box, set your tires. First thing I do, and when me and Jamie were on a team together, you know, we're in a chat. We're reminding each other, hey, take off your fast repair, take off your your
No tear. Yep.
your window tear. It's Daytona. You don't need tires on this stop. What we're coming in lap 175. Let's all take two. Try to stick together. You know, that's a great thing about us having almost everybody's on a team at this point. Utilize the tools. You know, if you don't understand the tools, ask some of those guys that have been doing this game simulator, whatever you want to call it, forever. We'll help you. I mean, but if you're on a yellow flag stop, you have the rest of the caution time to set up for your next pit stop.
Yeah, yeah, I don't and that's a funny little interesting thing that I just thought of about, as you said, gamer simulator. Man, in all honesty, I think we all spend way too much money on this to be called a video game. And,
Thank
and
you.
Yeah.
I don't give up 3 nights a week for something that I'm gonna be like, oh, I don't care that I got wrecked out. No, I'm gonna care a little bit.
Oh, I wake up
yeah,
pissed off. I wake up pissed off every Wednesday. Last season, it was I
Yeah.
woke up pissed off every Friday.
Dude,
well,
I don't
and
know what's worse. Finishing a race at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night and being pissed off and not able to fall asleep for an hour, or winning a race and having such an adrenaline high you can't fall asleep for an hour. There's
yeah,
like no in
facts.
between.
There's no in between on that
Right?
one.
Yeah, it's a tough life.
Let's
Well,
see
In
this.
7 seasons, I've won one race.
wondering
Oh,
Minchaka
I think
mentioned something here.
you were mad after
three in
that
and
race,
three
Jamie.
out, yeah.
I mean,
Three
that
in,
was
three out on pit road. Stay to the right. Call it out if you need to get in. Be aware of where the drivers around you are pitting if possible.
that duel we had in Atlanta, JB. That was a lot of fun.
I enjoy Atlanta a lot. It's the fall off towards the end of the green flag laps. I enjoy that so much. But yeah, no, unfortunately, just can't pull it together. Pull it together that night.
I like my one win. 7 seasons, 1 win, 2 seconds in the championship, and now everybody's gotten better.
I think I'm still. We haven't. We need to update the history books, but I think I'm still the most. I think I still have 16 wins, and nobody's. I think come close to that yet, except for one person. I think Hanneman almost came close.
Up until last season, I think I still had the best average finish because of those first 2 seasons, where I just consistently just waited around till everybody wrecked and then finished. I came in. What was it, Mason? Second in 2 series that first 2 seasons.
You're asking me to remember something far back. I can't think that far back right now.
That's the reason Joe calls me an elephant.
Well, go ahead.
I said I'm just going for rookie of the year. I can't compare stats yet.
Well, in ultimately when you're coming in for a solid season and you're ready to make a full run for the season, just doing the best you can do is a struggle around here because you have so much competition on the track as far as veteran drivers for GEC, people that have been doing this for 10 years. There's a lot of people in the truck series that are really good at what they do. Cup series has a lot of talent in it. Some of those college drivers up there, some of the I ratings up there, 7,000, 5,000, 6,000. So, I mean, just going out and giving it all you got is an amount of talent.
And I think people look at that a little too much because, like Tyler, what is your I rating right now?
3,000.
3,000. Okay, so pretty damn good. Way higher than mine. But you've stopped running official races.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I've run like I think 7 this year, and most of those were endurance races, which doesn't even compare to what we're doing here.
Yeah. So I mean, it freezes that. If you're not running official races, that's one thing I think should be, and this is just, I'll go put it in the suggestion box, is that you should have to run a quota of official races to keep, because I mean, then your I rating is stagnant. It doesn't show what you're doing elsewhere. If you got to have I mean, I don't think I don't know, maybe fair is the wrong word because I hate fair. Nothing's fair. Screw fair. But at the same time, if I get on here and I'll run anything and everything. I love Draft Masters. I don't give a shit. I get wrecked, but I'm having a good time. That's why I have this thing. That's why I've spent the stupid amount of money I've spent on it over the last how long was 98? But I don't know if the I rating thing is really a good measure because Jamie, you don't run official races much either, do you?
No, not after my last few of them. It went really bad. Mason, you have somebody in the waiting room, sir, with their hand up.
Oh.
Yeah, I after the last 3, the last 3 lost me probably 800 I rating or a little under that, and my safety rating by at least 1.5. So I got really irritated, and I haven't really raced an official race in over a year.
So you see where I'm coming from. Then how if you stop there, it's stagnant. If you got a knucklehead like me that's going to run every time there's a cup race at Daytona, I'm like coming up. My I rating's going to take a bump because I'm going to run every race I possibly can at Daytona just because I love it. I don't know if that's really a true fair measure of what somebody's skill is.
We have a guy in our other league that you can call a menace on track. Like he has literally never beaten me in a race that I haven't wrecked out of, and I've run 2 seasons with him now. And he's got a 2,900 I rating, and he literally only races Talladega and Daytona speed weeks. He just all week long races those, and that's where his I rating has come from. And I'm like, that is the most least accurate thing. I'm like, I thought somebody else was racing his account because I'm like, he's like a 1,200 I rating guy. There's 0 chance he's that close to me, and it's like it's just crazy.
See, most of my I rating builds come from tracks like Richmond and stuff like that, where I just run and I just drive, try to stay safe, don't try to win. Now, I made a lot of gains when I was back down to a C at like Michigan doing trucks and stuff like that. Just tracks that just come a little bit more natural. But I mean, Jamie, I tell you, Daytona, if things don't go sideways, I'm gonna be a force.
I haven't won an official in forever because I started once I got into the top split races. Forget it, man. I mean,
I'll tell you what.
it's no longer like I'm 2,400 and the top guy's 2,700. I have a chance. It's no, I'm 3,000 and the top guy's 6,800. Good luck.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what the hell these guys, my fellow competitors in the truck race, were thinking at Daytona. They wouldn't line up. They would not stay. They kept staggering. And I'm running mostly by myself, and I'm pulling all the way up to second, third, second, even contending for the lead there. And it's one thing that the Cup guys do really well is they get in a line at the super speedways and they stay in that line. They're not staggered at all. They're not throwing their ass out there and allowing that draft to get created for the guy on the outside line. Come Talladega, I say by the time we get about 2/3 into the season, it's going to be something to see in the trucks because people are starting to figure it out. They're starting to get a little bit more racy at the right times. Even I can see a big difference in race 2.
Yeah, we
But
like to see
And I
that
think
evolution. That's nice. Real quick, it looks like we have S. Haynes up here with us. How you doing,
Hayes?
sir? Or Hayes? My
I'm
apologies.
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I wanted to touch back on something that you're talking about like 20 minutes ago. Um, about with the restarts.
Sure, go for it.
Sometimes when you're restarting on tracks, certain drivers, and I'm not going to say any names or anything like that, but certain people, I dislike starting around them because they they might not get a good start in front of me. Um, so some of that could be what's going on, with certain people.
I-
Um,
Is this in regards to the
also,
like the gapping in the restarts?
yeah,
Gotcha.
because
so you're
sometimes
saying they're holding back a little bit because you don't know what they're going to do.
they might miss a shift. They might wreck the entire field out because they're going too hard into the gas. Especially whenever you're in the back. Like I'm one of the people that stay in the back. I stay in the back all the time, and I see a lot of stuff just go on, and it's just people making moves that they shouldn't have made. Don't stick your nose there. Let out for a second. You can get them on the next turn, kind of thing. But it's people just doing it and not paying attention to just letting out for a second.
If we're going,
And on the
if everybody's cool with us having a Dr. Phil moment,
Go for
Yeah.
it.
shoot them a message, man. Be like, hey, look, I saw you do this. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, nothing like that. Hey, this is what this causes. It causes a backup. It causes the accordion, whatever. Everybody knows cautions breed cautions. If you ever watch a race on Sunday, you hear it all the time. Say something to them. Right? Be polite about it, of course, but be like, hey, dude, you're doing this, and this is an every race deal. I don't know what to do when I have to line up behind you. Give them some advice if they're open to it, of course. Just have a conversation. I think a lot of the craziness that we do experience, and believe me, I've run a bunch of different leagues. This is by far, and I'm not just saying this because I'm an old head. This is one of the best run leagues I've been in. If you talk to the admins, you talk to the driver themselves, most of the time you can figure something out and help somebody. Jamie will be the first one that says He says it all the time. This is a development series, anyhow. Even in the Cup series, it's still a development series. We try to teach each other. There's a lot. I'm not the fastest guy on the track, but there's a lot I can teach people about patience and when to push and when not to push. Even though I don't win a lot of races, I don't win championships. Maybe one day I will. But have that conversation, man. Don't be afraid to reach out and just say, "Hey, dude, this I see this keeps happening. What can I do to help you?"
Oh, and on my side of it, what kind of detriment are you causing yourself or the field by the fear that you have for other drivers, right? So
Exactly. That too.
when you're like, oh man, I don't want to be up behind this guy, and you take 3 car lengths or 2 car lengths on that guy just because you don't want to hit him, what kind of detriment is that putting on the racers behind you or next to you in case something happens or a checkup happens? Ultimately, your fear could lead you to be blamed for an incident. Ultimately, you know, just because you were sitting back that far. And that's also something that we don't want to see. Obviously, there are people that we don't want to race around or, that we have trouble racing around. But really, ultimately, that's our skill as a driver to be able to overcome something like that and to know that we have or to have the confidence to know that you have the ability to make it around something that driver is going to do or maybe possibly do. Um, but ultimately, letting your fear drive your race is what could cause your incident to happen. And really, I think that's what we've seen on the restart. And not saying that
Guilty.
it's something that other people haven't been doing. Because I won't get right up behind somebody, but leaving 2 car lengths, 3 car lengths is just a little overboard, I think.
Another thing that just throw this out there that people might want to ask each other. I use paddle shifters. Jamie knows
I
that I
do as
use
well.
paddle shift. Jamie knows I use paddle shifters. They don't respond quite as quick as maybe somebody's that's using a H
A
pattern or
shifter.
H pattern.
or a sequential or whatever. Maybe ask that question. Hey, what do you? Hey, when you're in practice, don't ask it during the race. Of course, we want to keep that chatter down to a minimal. But when you're around these guys that you see this happening, hey, what kind of shifting are you using? It, and then you can judge from there. Well, I'm going to give him an extra couple feet because I know this guy's not going to respond quite as quick as somebody just ripping a gear. Just a thought.
Oh yeah, that good advice.
I mean, I think a lot of our stuff, a lot of the really the few issues we have as a league, and compared to some other ones that I've been watching, I think conversation can go a long way.
Yeah,
Well, and it's
conversation
funny
and communication is key.
you'd said something earlier about apology can go a long way, and it's funny you say that because just yesterday, or I think it might have been the day after the race, Lynch had said something about somebody getting into him, and he was gonna you know flip out on him. And as soon as he went to go key up on the mic, he apologized and he felt bad about it, right? So, and really, ultimately, it's not about feeling bad about it. It's about oh shit, these are people too. We had issues in the last race with drivers going at each other uh, over the chat over the radio, and ultimately, you know, there are penalties that go with that. Just shouting over the microphone because you're upset is not something that we do, right? Yeah, the little bit of banter that's maybe fun banter is fine, where we're joking around during a caution or something like that. But when it comes down to being serious and you're
Now, does
you're
that hit
shooting
the
out
broadcast?
threats or what's that?
Does that hit the broadcast?
No, none of it does. No, it's
Okay.
not broadcasted.
Nope.
The day that it was broadcasted, we accidentally swore in front of a child, so we won't be doing that anymore.
Yeah, that was actually during the donation race for Martin.
Yep,
Hmm.
it was. I wanted him to be able to hear the chatter in the race, and ultimately it got a little aggressive,
Well,
so we
just
had
for
to
the
cut
record,
that off.
my 2-year-old cusses a storm, and I'm blaming it all on you because she listens to you guys constantly.
Oh boy.
Just,
Yep, see?
just go
Perfect.
with it.
And
Yeah, go ahead,
But
Jimmy.
the other thing that I was
you're
wanting
good.
to talk about was some of the other things that you was talking about was oh my god, what was it? How did you say it? Um about the truck series and it being a coming up league.
A development
I'll
league
tell you
or
right
development
now,
league?
I learned more from this league than any other league that I race with.
Well, and that was
And
the ultimate goal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
I
the
mean,
we're
re-
out here to help you guys, whether it's learning the
if you
tracks or
read,
getting better.
I have a screenshot it somewhere, but I don't know if it still says it or not. But that's one thing that when Jamie and Barrow Mason, all these guys started this thing in the first place, that was the idea. The idea going in is it's a community one. It's a place for us all to get together. I mean, hell, my wife laughs at me. My only friends is her, our one buddy Cody, and these guys I race with. I don't have any other friends other than people I talk to at work. I look forward to racing every week, and these are my friends. Um, but it is meant to make all of us better. We all have it's it's different than going out in the real world and trying to find people that know something about, uh, finding a common interest. We're all here because we have this common interest. It's automatic. So I mean, and Jamie and Mason both, and Eric, he was part of starting this thing, I guess. That's what they started it on was, hey, let's help people get better. Let's make ourselves better, and let's help each other get better and build this thing into. And now we've got what, an average of 28 drivers, I'd say, roughly per race.
Yeah, oh, more than that.
Okay, well, see, I'm being on the low end, trying to be conservative.
The cup
It
races
went
have
from,
started with 40 or more every race so far. For both races, we've had a 40 show out, and then for the trucks, it's been 30 or more. So
I mean, starting out though, we start off with 20.
Hey,
20
I
was a good
remember
field, and
the
then
old days. The old days when we started a field with maybe like 10 cars on the track. So, I mean,
well,
yeah,
we
I
start
do.
with 20 at Daytona, 20 to 30 at Daytona. By 5 races in, we're down to 8. But the whole idea behind this, behind GEC in the first place, and you know, Jamie, correct me if I'm wrong, was to help everybody
absolutely.
and make everybody better. I mean, that's why they have the the different sections for race help and running different lines and setup help and this, that, and the other. It's not just to help inside the league itself either. It's to help with all of iRacing and anything you want to do. You want to go you get your A license, you want to go run the road to pro. These guys will help you. Stop that shit,
um
Jamie.
I know.
so that brings up another topic that I was trying to get back on was y'all were talking about doing officials and your license and stuff like that. And I don't think that really proves that a person is putting forth the effort to do racing because certain people don't have the time or the the ability to go out there and do officials all the time.
Well, that's why I'm in the
Um,
back of the truck series, my friend. I
yeah,
I don't have the time to put in the practice like I would like to. I'm getting back to there where I can. Um, but I didn't have the time, and my racing suffered. Like I was saying earlier, I was one of the top guys first couple seasons, and then everybody just kept getting better. And I was because I didn't, and I stayed stagnant. Did I not?
Hey, that's
I mean,
how
I
I
didn't have
feel,
it.
and I haven't raced basically since season 2. So, me trying
I
to get
didn't
back
have the
out there,
time.
I'm intimidated already.
I mean, I didn't have the time. Went through some personal stuff on top of it, but and we all do. But I didn't have the time because of work and whatnot, and having a baby and all that shit.
hmm
Just didn't have the time to put forth. So everybody else, they kept getting better, and I stayed right at the same spot or got worse.
Well, I just got to my B license this season. I'm trying to work to get into the A and to get my I rating up enough to where I can get into the Cup Series with y'all. Um, that's my main thing is eventually working my way up to getting to there.
Absolutely, and I mean
And
that
I'm
should be everybody's goal, trying to improve
And
on themselves. So
I'm gonna quote Larry Mack: "Run all the laps."
On all the laps.
Run all the laps. I mean, that's what I did last season. That was my focus. And I even went from Cup back down to the truck. Just run all the laps, man. Get all the experience, all the time. Watch other people. Just run all the laps. Just try to stay clean. Just run all the laps. Finish every lap you possibly can. It can only make you better.
yeah, definitely. That
all right, let's see here.
We got anybody else, or we gonna move on to talking about NASCAR?
I think we can move on to the NASCAR. I think we
Because holy shit,
have,
Austin Dillon just shut everybody up.
Yeah.
Didn't have to wreck nobody.
Good win on my boy.
Just real quick, Bellinger, did you have anything else you wanted to talk about or
No,
stuff on?
I
Or?
actually got dipped out. I got a race that starts in 10 minutes, so this went a little longer than I thought.
Roger, sir. Thank you
But
for coming on and talking with us and talking about some
I'm coming
things.
for that Rookie of the Year trophy.
Yeah, I
That's
thought
all
this
that
was gonna be
matters.
like a 15-minute deal.
Heck
I
yeah.
might get in trouble when I get out of here, but hey,
Appreciate you
it's
guys
my
having
wife's
me on.
idea to put this thing in the closet.
Yep.
Absolutely, not a problem. Hope to see you back soon.
See you, boys.
All
Lynch
right.
in there. Look at us
is
now.
anybody looking forward to the new NASCAR game coming out for console?
Oh
Not
yeah,
a bit.
definitely. I am.
I'm definitely gonna
I'm
give it a
interested
try.
in the career.
All my kids have a console. I mean, I've still got that old Thrustmaster wheel that I might give them to hook it up to because it hooks up to Xbox, but I'm gonna stay on my PC.
All right, before we move on to any further topics, I just want to quickly go through some comments here because I think we've missed quite a few.
Yeah, quite a few.
Anybody call me a butthole?
Yeah, a few people.
Oh well, I'm doing my job then.
Let's see. Wesley Lynch said, "Look at us now, 300 plus in the community. Kudos to you guys. We at Skidmark appreciate GEC as a whole. Uh, we we started as three buddies looking to compete to and have little fun and share our experience. Sweet, sweet.
We
Yeah, go
now
ahead.
have 2 fully operational teams and show up and show out each week. That's what it's about, always moving forward. Well, and again, starting a new series, starting the truck series is probably the best thing that we did. And having 2 series for you guys to be able to run in is the biggest accomplishment that we were able to make so far. Hopefully able to open up that ARCA series next
Possibly
season as
3
well.
coming next season. Possibly another one
Yeah.
coming next season. So.
Yeah.
You literally just took the thought out of my brain.
I don't know what we plan on doing with it yet. I'm pretty sure we discussed that it's probably going to be a non-live streamed series, but when it gets closer to that date or date, we'll go over how we're going to do things. But
Now, if it's not if it's a non-live stream series, I can probably spare a couple hours to do over. I don't even know what the hell I'm trying to say.
race control.
Overlay comment. Yeah, no overlay commentary.
Oh,
I get a couple
commentary
cracks at it
for
that
it.
way.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said,
I use both my personalities.
get further down that road. We'll see what we're gonna do with it.
So before we get into talking actual NASCAR, Chicagoland this week.
Yes.
Is Cup running that too?
Cup is also running Chicagoland.
That's going to be a hell of a race. That's going to be wild to watch. It's either going to be caution fest, or it's going to be some of the best racing that GEC's put on in both series. It is so damn fast. You can almost run it wide open, depending on which lane you're running through the turns. It's going to be interesting to watch.
That would be an interesting one. The one I'm really waiting for though is the actual road race. I want to see that. The road course.
I might have COVID that week.
Talk about, are you talking about Daytona road course?
Yeah, we run the Roval.
Yep.
We run Chicagoland this week and then the Roval next week.
The Roval. Roval.
Chicago, though, I mean, I'm hoping
We still have
NASCAR brings it back.
provisionals, don't we? We still have provisionals.
It wasn't if he's talking about provisionals already.
I was just making sure of that. I guess I got to remember how to do that next week.
Come on, you guys will do
Oh.
fine. You guys will do fine.
Oh, I'm terrible on road courses. I might come out there and practice, but
got to go out there and be confident about it. That's all.
The best thing I suggest people that don't run road courses, I don't, is just drive it, make it to the end. You'll have your guys that race. You'll have your guys that are just trying to make it around, stay out of people's way, and you'll move up spots by attrition.
Gilla Girl, we're not gonna go ahead and we're not gonna talk about that one on the YouTube.
Oh yeah, no. Everything you see anybody smoking is all gonna be vape. It's not gonna be anything illegal in any of the states, any of the United States, anyway.
That's not true. I get it medically where I live.
Oh well, that's a little bit different.
We're still. I haven't dropped one F. I don't think I've even cussed.
Well, swearing I don't really care too much about. Here one F-bomb here and there. It is what it is. I hear it on YouTube all the time, so I think we're fine there. But when we get into the other things,
I want my kids to be able to watch this later and think their dad's not a complete douche.
Wow, yeah, I get it. I get it.
They already think I'm a loser because I said on the computer and I race cars.
All right. Well,
Dad, why don't you do this in real life? Because I have you.
We're about an hour and 8 minutes into this. About a half hour over what I wanted it to be. So let's go ahead and get into some real topics real quick, and then we will get everybody out of here. Does anybody have some interesting real NASCAR topics that they'd like to talk about? I know I have one. Well, it's not really super interesting, but it's something that I'd found earlier. It appears that the NASCAR Xfinity Series is having a new name in the 2026 series. I guess
always be the Busch Series to me.
They signed a deal with O'Reilly Auto Parts, and it will now be known as NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series beginning in 2026.
It's still the Busch Series.
Really?
What about Dodge coming back?
Yeah, they're bringing back the truck.
Yeah, what about Dodge coming back for the truck series?
That's fantastic. Hopefully in 2027 they'll be back in Cup and Xfinity. Not sure what they would run. Not real up to date on. My biggest curiosity is it should be after the 2026 season that they can't run the Camaro body style anymore, and I'm waiting for that announcement what they're going to run. I mean, that's the one I'm waiting on personally, because being a Chevy guy, I mean, are we going to go? We going to do away with Chevy? We going to go to Chrysler? Or are we going to? I'm not Chrysler.
Well, I mean, they could use the vet body style.
Yeah, I can't do it. That not allowed. Wheelbase is too big. Here's a subject I would like to bring up, and I'll bring it up here in a minute. But no, Dodge. I mean, if they run the Charger, that meets the specs as far as wheelbase, roof height, all that kind of stuff. They might have to do some mods, but you won't be able to tell much of a difference between it and the street car. As far as O'Reilly goes, I mean, it's same pig, different set of lipstick. really right now, I think the Xfinity series puts on the best racing out of all three of the top series. I don't know what you think, Jamie.
Well, bringing in Dodge is not anything new to NASCAR, right?
No,
Dodge has been in NASCAR for a long time, so they're definitely well apt. It's just how are they going to be able to conform to the newer standards of NASCAR compared to when they left, and what kind of advantage are they going to be able to give their drivers versus the other manufacturers?
well,
It's really going to come down and to see what they're going to be able to do on track.
it's going to be what people they can get, really. I think. You got Rodney Childers that left Spire abruptly beginning of the year. What, 6 races in, something like that. I could see him going to a Dodge team. I could see Trackhouse leaving, going to Dodge when the time comes. Childress is going to say where he's at. Hendricks is never going to run anything but a Chevy. Um, Joe Gibbs, he's locked in with Toyota, even though he did run Dodge at one point, didn't he? He ran
Yeah.
Pontiac at one point as well. But Toyota's got, I mean, it's going to be what it's going to be. I don't think there's going to be any great gap. I'd say they'd win a race in the first 10 races, depending on who they get. There's a couple truck teams that could really use a little bit of fresh air. They're not going to bring anybody dumb in. There's a lot of talent out there, crew chief wise, engineer wise. The sport's so engineer geared now, more than it's ever been. They're going to bring in good people. They're not going to be bringing fresh people that have never seen the sport before. They might bring in a couple here and there to give a little bit of fresh air, but it's all going to be mostly people that are at the end of contracts and looking for the next thing. So they're going to be fine.
Probably.
They're going to be competitive right off the rip. I could, what is it that Majeski runs for? Thor?
I'm not sure.
Thor Sports, you got Majeski, Rhodes, they're going to stay where they're at. But I can see like Tricon moving to be a Dodge team. None of that's been announced yet either. So, I mean, who are these teams going to be?
Yeah.
Are they going to have one team with 4 cars? I mean, really, nobody knows at this point. There hasn't been any announcement on who's going where. And hell, by 2027, you might see Honda come in. I mean, they could run the Accord. The one thing I'd like to see stop is these idiots on Facebook from overseas posting all this fake shit. I don't know what's going on with why everybody hates Bubba so much. But, every time I click on Facebook, I see, Bubba's suing Michael Jordan, Bubba's suing Danica, all this bullshit. I'd like to see all that I'd like to see the social media people do their job and stop the fake crap. It just creates a bunch of hate that doesn't need to be there. But hell, that's one I'd like to see what happens. Is 2311 once Dodge gets to Cup? Is 2311 going to stay as a second tier team on the information? They got that feeder through Joe Gibbs, but wouldn't it be nice to be number one on the stepping stone and get all the information firsthand? I could see them and Trackhouse making a jump.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Well, Mason, we got anything else?
No, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. I appreciate everybody that stopped in, help out on the podcast today. Culleton, thanks for being our special guest, our number 3 here. Also,
Anytime.
with your guys' team there, I appreciate you all coming in to speak with us. It was a good time.
Well,
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing I say is I'd like to talk more racing and less about the crazy, but crazy's part of it.
Yep, 100%. All right, guys. Thanks again for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next week here on GEC NASCAR Teardown, your virtual garage and podcast for all things GEC NASCAR League. Good night, everyone.
Hey, you're not racing hard if you're not racing naked.
That's right.